We get more full self-driving beta updates, watch it take on the world's most crooked street, and check in on the supercharging capabilities of one of Tesla's new battery chemistries. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 632 for November 2nd, 2020. The show is brought to you by my supporter Brad. Brad wants to encourage all of you to consider joining him as a supporter of Tesla Tidbits on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. Let's join together to keep the Tesla Tidbits coming. What else could we possibly start with this week? Well, it's more full self-driving beta reporting. I'm starting off with the note that beta testers have received their second update since the start of the beta, courtesy of Tesla Scope. There are two really big changes in this version 2020.40.8.12, in addition to the driving improvements themselves. Firstly, if you remember the Cybertruck reveal, you'll remember that totally different UI that was shown on the screen. Well, that has made it to the full self-driving beta. For those in the single-screen cars, it is tight. I love it. Super minimalist, surfacing what you need when you need it, and it's just beautiful. Secondly is the visualization of the car's actions. Huge visual upgrade from where we were just a couple weeks ago. First and foremost, the visualization itself is much bigger. On the single-screen vehicles, the divide from car status to maps has been moved over to accommodate. On the dual-screen vehicles, when full self-driving is engaged, your widgets disappear and the full self-driving visualization takes over the entire instrument cluster, only leaving your speedometer visible. Get used to bringing up the widgets you are used to seeing on the center screen if you own a two-screen vehicle. As to the visualizations themselves, still lots of individual dots on the screen that I think will eventually turn into solid lines, but they have improved and so have the vehicle markers. Another difference gleaned from the release notes at Tesla Scope is that now your speedometer will turn blue when autopilot is engaged, giving another visual cue that the autonomous system is at work. The testers out there seem to be loving the driving capability updates, as well as the new visualizations. Check out any of the many videos out there to get a visual taste of what's going on. Our second item today comes to us courtesy of Tesla Raj. He and his crew took to San Francisco, home of Lombard Street, dubbed by many as the most crooked street in the world. If what beta testers have been putting the cars through up until this point has been the equivalent of high school tests, this is the equivalent of a Mensa exam. If you're unfamiliar with the street, there's a section that features 8 sharp turns, a recommended 5 mph speed, and is situated on a hill with a 27% grade. The purpose of the multitude of turns, according to Wikipedia, was to reduce that 27% grade to allow vehicles of the day in 1922 to navigate the roadway, much like a skier will ski side to side to intentionally reduce speed. The adventure was a bit of a mixed bag. While Raj's Model 3 did successfully navigate some portions, it was no match for the majority of the street. It was a very interesting watch, though, as if you pay attention to the drone shots, cars that began to eventually fall in behind Raj were not really ever catching him. So despite the seemingly slow progress the car was making, it was actually no worse than the human drivers that were behind it. Hopefully Raj and team go back as the beta versions improve, so we can see the car tackle one of the toughest tests it will ever take. Item 3 today is a look at the new lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry, LFP for short, that is now being produced in China for some Model 3s there, and how it relates to supercharging, courtesy of websites Clean Technica and 42How, as well as Ray for Tesla on Twitter. The 42How site sat the new chemistry vehicle next to the old chemistry vehicle and had a charge off, so to speak. The result was that despite having a slightly better charged battery, which would normally give it a disadvantage, the new chemistry trounced the old. The LFP battery completed a 41% to 99% charge in about 42 minutes, where the traditional chemistry completed 40% to 99% in 62 minutes. This seems to show that the drop off on charge rate at the end of the charge cycle is much less severe on the new chemistry. Additionally, Tesla recommends that this chemistry be charged regularly to 100%, rather than the maximum 90% that we're used to. Whether this is a change in how the BMS manages the battery, that's the battery management system, i.e., there's more actual capacity than is being permitted for use, or due to the change in chemistry is unclear. Regardless of which, the practical result is a battery that can provide 10% more daily available range than its predecessor at the same cost to the consumer, which is awesome no matter how it's done. Lastly, today is a trio of tweets rounded up by Tesla owner Silicon Valley, who has been a one man wrecking crew when it comes to videos, questions, and Elon answers regarding the full self driving beta. The first thing Elon answered him on was a response to the 2020.40.8.12 version of code running the beta, saying, quote, "This build should be noticeably better with interventions," end quote. The next response was a note on the cadence the beta testers could expect to see. Asked how often updates would be coming, Elon said it would be, quote, "every 5 to 10 days," end quote. Finally, Tesla owner Silicon Valley praised the release, saying, quote, "Elon, the update feels 10 times better than the prior version. How does this UI enhance the actual improvements on the road?" End quote. Elon responded saying, quote, "We measure this primarily in intervention probability. The update addressed several issues, resulting in perhaps about one-third fewer interventions. Many of the improvements consist of fixing silly bugs versus grand eureka moments. True for most beta releases in my experience." End quote. Look, if silly bugs being squashed can drop interventions by a third, then by all means, let's hammer those silly bugs. That will do it for today's show. Here's your friendly reminder of my ongoing campaign to raise money for sick kids with Extra Life this year. You guys have been just unbelievable, catapulting us way over our goal of $1,500 raised for Team Tesla in just 2 days. But we can't stop now. How far can we push past that goal? Currently, the team has raised $1,702, which is good for 384th overall among all teams, and well within the top 10% of teams. Can we reach the top 5%? That would require us getting up to at least 242nd in the world, which at present is a donation level of $2,731, a cool grand above where we're at currently. I love how much you are all contributing, and regardless of where we end, this community should be very proud of itself. If you'd like to contribute, head over to bit.ly/tt-el2020 to make your contribution. That's bit.ly/tt-el2020, where all letters in the TTEL are capitals. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. And as always, I have a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, and Sunil Joseph. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next time, keep it charged and hit the road.